I didn't think I was going to make it past 18, so the fact that I'm sitting here doing this at 27, yeah. December 21st, 2025 was my 10th year on testosterone. And I just wanted to make this video because honestly, the milestone just hit and I wanted to reflect on this. I moved from Houston, Texas to LA back in November of 2024. Met my now fiance. Some of my best friends, had some really great experiences and some pretty shitty ones too. And I also got a puppy. As you can see, this is not going to be a tragedy story, promise. It's just my real life. So here's the thing. I didn't think I was going to make it past 18, and now I'm here at 27, and that's wild. Can you stop biting me? It's huge. It's huge, actually. The world wasn't rooting for me. The people I grew up with weren't rooting for me, and my family wasn't, up until recently, actually. I was 14, 15 years old, and my mom was going through her own rough patch, and so I had to stay with my aunt. I was basically told that I had to grow my hair back out, wear dresses, go to church, and just basically conform. I ended up moving out of home pretty shortly after that, and I never really went back. When I look back to think about what 10 years would look like versus what it is now, it's pretty wild. I moved across the country alone, proposed to my fiance, and met people who actually stayed. I had shitty experiences, I had amazing ones, the whole thing. But honestly, back in Texas, I hated myself. I hated everybody. I kept giving everything that I had to everybody else. Depressed, insecure, needed people to validate my own existence. That was my baseline. There were a lot of fears that I had to sit with. I was assaulted multiple times throughout the age of like 16, 17, 18. I felt alone, felt like I was a trans man contributing to everybody else's life. Yeah, that's kind of how, yeah. Other fears didn't really happen. The point is I still had to face them anyways. But here's what's wild. The stuff that I thought mattered, like the physical changes and doing my shot or occasionally missing my shot. It all became so normal that I barely think about it at all anymore. Which means something shifted for me. At some point, I realized that I was burning myself by comparing my behind the scenes to other people's highlights, which obviously wasn't helping me. I was so focused on finding the right people, the right friends, the chosen family that everybody talks about, like that was going to solve things for me. I just was not seeing the things that I built, the things that I've done all by myself. But once I stopped doing that, once I looked at what I've done these past 10 years, like the work that I'm proud of, I fell in love with my own progress, my life progress. I genuinely fell in love with it. And that changed everything, that changed everything about how I see myself. What are you doing over there, my chin? You're trying to get my attention. Give me that. Give it. What is this? You ate my rainbow bracelet. Come on. No, not right now. Not right now. Introducing Milan. But yeah, that changed everything about how I see myself now and everything that I've done. So when I feel insecure or depressed or, alone, I take it as a sign that I'm just not putting my attention towards the things that I care about, the things that matter to me. And that's how I course correct today. By year 3 through 7, that's when things got messy in a different way. My body stopped changing for the most part. I was never really that active anyways. So after the first year, changes slowed down. At least I think. Now that when I compare each year back to back, it's there's differences, there's changes, I'm not gonna lie. But that's just called growing up. What was happening was I was building relationships and friendships. I made a ton, I lost a ton. I kept going through situations that hurt me and I still stuck around. I guess that was out of fear of being alone. I don't know. I would realize something was not good for me and I would hold on to it anyway because it just validated my masculinity, It took me a moment to get it, but if I wanted a nice life with anybody else, I had to want that for myself first. And that was not a light bulb moment. It was a gradual, learning and understanding about myself and the world. But once that clicked, I changed. I just showed up, a lot less, a lot less. And I still do show up a lot less for a lot of people because I don't want to go back to that spot. So I stopped spreading myself thin, trying to build with other people and started building by myself. And I want to say that's exactly why I'm here today. In LA. This is around the time that my relationship with being trans completely shifted. I used to think it was my whole entire identity, and being trans is a big part of who I am. I will never forget or try to erase that. But I realized I wasn't helping anybody by making it my whole identity. I've done a lot to put myself out there and be the advocate and be, a place that you can go to, a place that a lot of trans people were and have been able to come to see a light in a life somehow. But I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be that. I wanted the community, but I wanted to be more than just a trans guy. I had to step back and ask myself, why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself out there? Why am I being visible? Why am I exposing myself, you know? And the answer was, I'm not. Not like this. Now, I'm not stealth, okay? I'm not hiding anything, obviously. But I'm also, like, not only trans. I'm just a person who is trans. And I am proud of that, but that's not the whole story anymore. Which is funny because the more confident that I got into my transition, the more invisible I became to people. It's like they just treat me like a person most of the time. Sometimes like a person that people are scared of still, but you know, that's just because I assume the tattoos and stuff like that. And I think that's partly why I felt like I needed that part of myself out there, because I am trans and I am proud, and that was just disappearing, and it still is disappeared sometimes. Like I don't, you know. But the hormone shot thing, I still do them every week. It's still annoying as hell. Well, actually, my fiance does them for me, so I got lucky with that one. Now that we're 10 years in, my body just feels completely normal now. I walk and I talk with confidence, and you can see that. I want to say it's just how I exist. I just don't think about how I'm perceived anymore. Not in that way. Being trans, which was once, you know, at the forefront of my entire identity, is now in the background. It's always going to be a part of who I am, but it's not all that I am. It's just there. And my life is actually built. Like, I am engaged. I started rebuilding a relationship with my mom last year, thanks to my fiance, which that was huge. I'm also more involved with my community now than I ever was in my life, which is really nice because as someone who felt super alone, it's really, really, really nice to have community. I'm also a full-time content creator. I own my own media production company, as well as my own travel and resource blog. So we are doing the things, okay? I've traveled all over the United States. I've worked with a ton of organizations, a ton of pride organizations, a ton of LGBTQ owned organizations. I've done a lot of things so far. And I'm producing guides for trans folk and allies. I'm also working on some other stuff too, like a podcast and a book. You know, I've been doing a lot of things lately. But the crazy part is I got here by bringing my focus back to me. Like that realization of needing to want a nice life for myself too, like that also applied to work, you know. I stopped waiting for a team. I stopped looking at what everybody else had, and I built it alone, consistently, for years. And that's what made this possible. If my 18-year-old self could see me now, they'd probably be shocked. Not at just like the surface level thing, like being engaged and owning my own business, but just like how calm I am, you know, for the most part. I do crash out. You know, I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't crash out. I crash out. But I'm pretty calm crash outs until they're not. Yeah, the 18-year-old version of me would be shocked that I was just accepted to Full Sail University, you know, like what? He feels like himself, so he wants to go to school now. Rebuilding my relationship with my mom, you know, he'd be shocked. He'd be shocked that being trans just became background noise. Like that's what he really wouldn't have believed. There are some pretty big questions still, though, like the hysterectomy thing still weighs on my mind. I know I was supposed to get it 5 years ago, but I haven't, so... yeah, I think about it like often, but it's not urgent. That's something I'll handle when I have the right insurance. And there might be other questions down the line, but they don't define where I'm at like right now. Like right now, I feel calm and my goals are pretty clearer than they have ever been, I want to say. Like I've already hit the goals that my younger self dreamed about, and now I have new ones. And that's the thing. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm just living. Reflective wise and advice wise, if I could share anything, it would be this. If you're young, just stop trying to be what everybody else wants, I guess. You know, work on becoming who you actually want to be. Like, that's the real work. Back then, I knew something true about myself, and that was that I could do anything that I put my mind to. And that's still true. Dreams don't have to stay dreams just because you're trans. Just work on you, and your dreams really can become your reality. Like, I'm so sorry about how cliche that sounds, but it's like so true, and I lived it, so that's what I'm telling you. What I got wrong was thinking that I needed other people to validate my life. Like, I spent so much of my youth trying to be the perfect guy for everybody else, which was like impossible when I couldn't see that for myself. I could see it in myself, but I couldn't see it for me. Finding love outside of myself felt so urgent, and it wasn't. What matters to me now is my time, my free time, you know, the time I get to spend with friends and family and my fiance, and just, like, I did not expect that to hit so hard. Now that I'm in my late 20s, I'm not going to say 30 because I'm in my late 20s, not 30 yet, okay? Now that I'm in my late 20s, I realize that I have less time than I did in my youth to learn new skills. I mean, I have more time than most. Being a content creator, I don't have to work a 9 to 5, but I have less time to develop new hobbies that stick, you know? So I'm pretty protective of my time. Lucky for me, my career gives me a lot of flexibility, but even without that, I'd still be thinking about how I'm spending my hours. I want to read this to you. For people early in transition watching this, worry about your health, worry about your boundaries, stop worrying about everybody else's happiness, put your focus into your strengths, be creative in how you do life. And there's a quote that I love. I have it tattooed on me actually, and it goes, live as if you were to die tomorrow and learn as if you were to live forever. And I live by that. That's the move. Here's what I want you to know about 10 years. You can actually build a life. Like, not just survive, like, you can build. It gets boring in the best way. You stop obsessing. You don't have to have it figured out. And things do change slower than you think, which means you have more time than you feel like you do right now. When I was younger, it felt like everything had to happen right then and there, but it doesn't, and it didn't. I had the time, and so do you. And if you spend it on yourself, not focused on everybody else, you'll end up somewhere pretty good, and I'm proof of that. So back to the beginning. I didn't think I was gonna make it past 18, but here I am at 27 talking about my life like it's fucking normal. Like it's wild. But I did not do it alone. My friends, my family, my mother, who just clocked back in, but who cares? She's here. We built that. We built that relationship. We're building. Oh shit, what the fuck? Just kidding, I thought I saw something. What is that? Y'all are just, nobody's gonna tell me that? Alright, fine. My friends, the community, the people who actually showed up and stayed, those are who matter. And honestly, I'm pretty excited for what's next. I'm in my late 20s. I've got the podcast coming. I'm building the company. I'm creating the guides. I'm just doing the work that actually means something to me. There are new goals now and they don't feel impossible anymore. They just feel like what's next. So I want to say that's all I got for today, but I will end with this. I'm grateful for the last 10 years of my life, for making it here, for the people in it now, for the people who've left even. You know, I'm grateful for all of these experiences, like honestly. And I can't wait to see what the next 10 years looks like. Anyways, thank you for being here. I'll see you next week, bitch.